Right, Jack, you've made your debut in the League Cup, Johnson's Paint Trophy this season. Now it's the FA Cup. How excited are you about the prospect of playing in that competition?
Yeah, I mean, FA Cup's obviously a huge competition. Obviously, one of probably the biggest in England in terms of cup competitions. Like I said, made my debut in the League Cup against Brighton, which was brilliant. If I get picked to play on Saturday, obviously the FA Cup, then I'll be delighted.
You've been handed some pretty difficult tests in those earlier competitions, Brighton, Bristol City, and it's another one, isn't it, where the draw probably couldn't have been much tougher in terms of the opposition, but one to really get excited about.
Yeah, we know a bit about Swindon. We've seen them play, and they're obviously a very good team. We can see that from the bits that we've watched of them, and then obviously the managers watched them, and it's clear to see that they are a good team. So it will be a tough test for us. But I think we did well. Obviously, the results didn't go our way against Brighton or Bristol City, but we gave a really good account of ourselves, and the lads are going into this one thinking that we have got a good chance of winning the game. We're obviously at home. There'll be a big crowd there, hopefully, and the fans will get behind us. So I don't see why there isn't any reason why we can't get a win.
Yeah. Do you approach the game any differently when you know the opposition are probably going to play a lot more football than maybe you get week in, week out in League Two?
I suppose so. I mean, obviously we'll work on things during the week against. Having watched like clips of what they're going to be like, and they obviously like to pass the ball and move it quickly, which some teams you don't get that in League Two. But I think the main thing for us, like I said, because we are at home, we've got to put our game across to them as well, and put in a similar performance to how we did against Brighton and Bristol City, and obviously that will give us the best chance against them.
Yeah. Did you play in the qualifying rounds of the cup for Eastbourne last season at all, or is this your first?
No, this is the first time. Yeah, I joined them later on from that, so I wasn't involved in any of that. But so yeah, obviously looking forward to it being the first time involved.
Yeah, there's a few lads left that played against Tottenham and Everton in the FA Cup for Cheltenham, and there's probably a few more left who went out in the first round to Tamworth, and that's a good example of what the FA Cup's all about, really, isn't it? It can be absolutely brilliant, or it can be, it can really put a dampener on the season. So, but Swindon, you've got a chance to sort of make a name for yourself, haven't you, in a game like that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously the club's had, like you said, some good runs against Tottenham and Everton, and then like you said, against Tamworth last year. The FA Cup can throw up anything. There's no guarantees who's going to win the game, which I think sort of makes it a bit more special. But yeah, we know Swindon are a good team, and like I say, I don't see any reason why we can't go and obviously being at home, go and try and win the game. And like I say, being that extra special that it's the FA Cup.
Yeah. Looking back on the York game, not too much, but first half obviously was disappointing. Second half a lot better. Have you come up with any reasons why the first half was disappointing and the second it was a vast improvement after half time?
I think we've obviously spoken about it at the start of the week, and we know ourselves that especially the first half, but I think the whole game we weren't good enough, and we know that, and we're obviously the first to admit that the performance that we put in was nowhere near where we have been at this season and what's required. But I think as soon as we'd spoken about it, the mood around the dressing room was sort of move on from it now and focus to this game on Saturday, and make sure that we put what went wrong on Saturday, put that right.
Yeah, and defensively you've been pretty tight this season. And York didn't have that many chances on goal, did they, throughout the game, really? But there's a few games before where the goals have just started to leak in a little bit. So is that something you've been working on specifically, trying to rediscover that defensive tightness?
Yeah, I mean, we started the season very well in terms of keeping a lot of clean sheets, and that sort of slipped away from us a little bit. So I think that's one of the main emphases of this week is to get back to defending properly and stop conceding goals. Obviously the threat's going to be higher against Swindon because obviously they're being in the league above and they're a quality team. But if we can defend properly and stay compact as a team, then hopefully we can shut them out.